BeTerrific. David Milch here from the Jacob K. Javits Center for Toy Fair with BeTerrific. And we have a very special group of guests here. Of course, we have Jeffrey Gurian. Jeffrey, you've been our guest host today. I must tell you, you know, the messages that are coming in, the tweets coming in on our channel on BeTerrific, the comments on what you've brought to the set and to the interviews today have just been outstanding, and people are so thankful that you've been with us, and we expect you to be a part of the BeTerrific family for a long time to come. So
thank you so much. I'm having a great time here, and I'm glad that people are responding so positively.
We had no doubt that they would, but it's really been seamless, and as friends for 20 plus years,
at least,
I really thank you, Jeffrey, for what you've done.
My pleasure.
And it's because of you that I've met the two gentlemen that are standing next to you, and we thought we were at the end of the day, but we've, as they say in The Godfather, just when you think you're out, they pull you back in again.
That's right.
So we've pulled you back in again, very gladly so, for the Terrifics. These two gentlemen are doing something that's truly important, something that matters to me personally, I know to all of you Terrifics. They're doing things, as they say in life, you do some things for love, you do some things for money, and you do some things, if you're fortunate enough, because they matter. And these two gentlemen, Paul Sladkus and Bob Forenza, are doing things that matter. And this has to do with toys and communication and space and all of that combined in a way that's very human and that you've really thrown your lives into, and what you do with your television broadcasting. So we're glad you're on BeTerrific. You're going to tell us a little bit about Hugg, a Planet, which is the company, and these two gentlemen, Robert and Paul. Why don't you start us off, Robert, and tell us about Hugg, a Planet.
Wow. This is actually my 35th year of doing Hugg-A-Planets. And every president since Carter had gotten one. Just a little background. In the early days, there was a Peace Links group which connected spouses with different countries, the U.S. versus the Russian diplomats.
Peace Links, P-E-A-C-E, right?
Yeah, peace.
Not a piece of silver, a piece of peace.
We have a, Hugg-A-Planet has a motto: peace on earth, our earth in one piece. Peace on earth,
our earth in one piece. Bravo.
This is a quote of my dad's. We just sit in the office, he came up with that. This product took a life of its own. It has been for almost 30 years. It's been in the New York City school systems in their resolving conflict programs as a mascot. Probably one of the underset reasons why crime has dropped in New York to a certain extent. Big difference, children growing up. The child as young as 1 who's walking can carry it. Somewhat empowering to the parent to see it. And then at 2, you point to places and they find it just by the colors.
It's a soft glow.
It's soft. You can hug it.
Right.
When you hug it, you're hugging 7+ billion people and yourself.
7 continents.
Yes, 7 continents,
7
all the
seas.
life, everything's here. But remember, yourself is here too. So it may be a way to everyone to see that although we have all these boundaries, we're all humans, we all have to live here. It's not that...
We're not divided,
yes,
we're united.
We're not divided, and this is a small little marble in a big universe. Now, the other cool thing that's happened is on 9/11/09, my Hugg-A-Planet, and it has a moon in it.
Had a baby.
I was wondering what
yeah,
that
there's
was.
a moon.
I saw something here.
This one is our pocket
the Earth
version.
has its moon.
Yes,
That's
the Earth
wonderful.
has its moon. And we also have Mars. It's actually the most detailed globe of Mars. I've had 3 updates to add places that landed on it. And NASA decided that they do a teaching from space class. And these
Can we get a close in on this, on the International Space Station? Let's see. So this is a picture of Hugg-A-Planet on the International Space Station.
On the International, and that was about, it was launched on 9/11, and it reached the space station on the International Day of Peace, which is September 21st. I don't know why, but there was a Hugg-A-Planet on board.
A miracle.
A miracle.
Isn't that something? Yeah, it's amazing.
And so it's a peace toy. And so we have a peace toy in orbit. Since then, it goes around 16 times a day, all of these.
So it's still
Oh, it's up
obviously
there. It's up there.
Both of them, or just the
This, the moon, and this. All three of them are
Wow.
up there.
And the first mission to Mars, I have to imagine
Well,
you're going to have
yes,
a birth.
Yes,
Right.
yes. So the Mars. Well,
Richard Branson, if you're watching, the Hugg planet is waiting for you.
Yes. Or the Tesla, or
that's right,
SpaceX,
Elon Musk or Richard
which
Branson.
had an
Either
awesome
one,
launch
right.
today. This
That's-
is a record up and down on the same thing. So the world really is actually doing much better than maybe the press makes it to be. I'd like
Right.
people to know.
And the press try,
And
right?
they try.
They do the
Well,
best.
just-
We all have to try.
Yeah. We're smart enough to know that we're happy.
Exactly.
So, which brings me to another thing. This particular Hugg Planet was, I sent a few of them over to the Global Dialogue for Happiness in Dubai. That was just last weekend.
Global Dialogue for Happiness, 11th of February, 2017.
So a few of these was over there. It was part of the World Government Summit.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a Hugg Planet there.
Now, you mentioned that it cuts down on crime,
well, this,
which I found very interesting. If we could get every criminal to carry one of those,
There wouldn't be
Yeah,
much
there
crime.
wouldn't be much
Yeah,
crime. You can't
that's
commit
right.
crimes when
We
you're
wouldn't have to
holding
build
that
a
one of
wall
those,
anywhere.
especially a big one like that.
Yeah.
Right.
They come in different sizes, right?
Yes,
Bravo.
I have a 6-inch, which I don't have here, and I have a 24-inch.
The 24.
I
yeah.
have them in English, French, and Spanish, and other languages could be coming. So it has that.
What is the website? Because I know the Terrifics will want to find these.
Huggaplanet.com.
So with two
One G or
G's.
two G? Two Gs.
H-U-G-G-A planet.com. Very s-
And if you took 1G, you'd get there. And if you think we need more peace and more toys, that's a site I started back in the late 90s if you want to see something antique, if there's something antique digitally. And that has a lot more video and some interesting stuff of all the awards. That
Now,
we
when I
have.
met you, Robert, just a little while
Yeah.
ago, you were with your friend Paul. Paul, tell us your connection to
Oh.
these august individuals and what you do. You've been involved in peace and trying to make the world a better place for a long time as a broadcaster and as a thinker and various peace movements. Please tell us.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Sound great.
Thank you
great.
to the
Guys,
Terrifics.
that's true.
Absolutely.
The Terrifics is right. So yeah, I've been in the broadcasting business for over 40 years. I was with CBS Television initially started in the early 70s. The All in the Family, Sonny Shirkow, the Burnett days.
Well, you were involved with All in the Family, one of the great
I was involved.
classic.
I was a lucky guy. I
Wow.
was assistant manager of studios in California at that time.
Fantastic.
And then I worked my way up, became producer of a soap opera, and then I went to, they canceled The Love of Life, it was called, and I went to Channel 13. And,
PBS.
PBS, I was with 13 for many years in production. I helped start the Nature series, which is still on.
Wow.
Did the Brain series, a couple years on that. And then I left 13 and started my own company, multicultural marketing and advertising. And the Chinese put me in business, and I would help large companies reach the different ethnic communities in America. And so I did that since 1985. I still do that and help people reach the ethnic communities. But then back in 1998, I started a broadcast, got back to my broadcast roots, and I called it Good News Broadcast. And because I'm all about positive.
Does that sound
thinking.
familiar? Being positive, being creative, being
Absolutely.
inspired.
It fits right in.
Exactly, hand in glove. That's
So
wonderful.
actually, when I started in communications in the 70s, it was all about doing good. The master's degree that I got, the Jesuit priest taught me, nice Jewish boy. They said, people actually believe what they read.
Wait,
They
you
believe-
studied with the Jesuit priests,
Right.
And they knew you were a nice Jewish boy, and it was
Yeah,
fine
yeah,
with them.
everything's fine. I'm actually an interfaith minister now, too.
Bravo.
But in any case, the point of media is it's very serious media. There's actually people that will believe everything we say if they're reading a newspaper. So I was always I was the kind of guy that was president of class, wanted everybody to enjoy life. So let's show the good of the world, which is most of the world.
Right.
And the majority of the world is good. We have
Say that again. You want to show people the good of the world, which is The most of the world.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, there are things that are tough out there. We know that. There are crises, there are refugees, but most of the world is good, and getting better. But that message gets drowned out unless it's brought to people using the power of technology, using the power of media, and having people like yourself that are committed to that message.
That is by far true. And I think if I didn't get a master's degree, I wouldn't know it myself. That how powerful the influence the media has around us. You know, I mean, then there was that movie Network. He said, you know, if you, Howard Beale said, you know, take the media and throw it out the window. So the point is, you know, the world is good, and your show is all about that.
And looking at your card, you're involved with peacedayparty.org.
Right.
That's a not-for-profit, peacedayparty.org, as well as goodnewsplanet.com. So if people go to, and we'll be putting it up on the screen, goodnewsplanet.com or peacedayparty.org, they can see the kinds of things that you're involved in broadcasting. And you do this every day. This is an ongoing...
Yeah, we have about 5,000 shows of people that are doing good in the world, including my good friend here, Jeff, who I think I've interviewed a few times over the years.
One stands out in my mind. Charles Grodin had done a thing for Wounded Warriors. Remember that? And Paul came, and he was doing really beautiful interviews. Again, very positive, and that's always been my thing, putting positive energy out to the universe.
You've always been about that, absolutely.
And we talked about that. Well, Charles Grodin and his daughter Marion are very into helping our wounded warriors, which is an amazing thing. And they had a very big event, and I was helpful to them in bringing in people to attend the event. And that's one of the early interviews that Paul did, but we've done several interviews together. Always very positive.
Well, you know what's amazing to me, and I love your calling card with a picture from the Apollo mission, the famous...
Thanks to Robert. Robert has given me these for a zillion years. We're buddies for a zillion years.
They're fantastic. But, you know, here we are on a stage in one of the, you know, the rooms, the display rooms at the Jacob K. Javits Center for Toy Fair. And some of us haven't met before, and everybody on the set here in front of the cameras and, you know, behind the scenes and in front of the computers and the switchers and everything, everybody on the floor, I'm sure that one-on-one they all embrace what we're talking about. But there are hundreds, there are thousands, there are tens of thousands, there are hundreds of thousands. There are millions of people that are going to see this because of what's going on here. And that's because of Michael Archis and Adam Holtz and the people at BeTerrific and what you're doing. Literally, you Terrifics, that's what's starting to happen here. That millions of people...
Starting a movement.
You know, and we don't have to be big-headed about it.
Right.
Think that the movement, it's going to change the world.
It's
gradual. What was it that we were talking to John Lennon? You know, you say you want a revolution, we all love to see the plan. And it starts with ourselves. It starts with individuals. Exactly.
Everyone is seeing
everyone, and everyone that's watching and, you know, cares about Mother Earth and cares about going to Mars and cares about the moon and cares about all of the things that we hope for our children and for our grandchildren. You have grandchildren, and this is what really matters at the end of the day. This is what brings meaning and purpose to our lives. And we hope that BeTerrific is bringing meaning and purpose and content and interesting things to all of your lives, and that you'll tell us that this matters to you so we can do more. It's a two-way street. It's a communication. It's all about a communication. Anything else that you'd like to share with us, Robert?
I'd like to share March 20th.
March 20th.
March 20th forever will be the International Day of Happiness. And this is this year's 5th anniversary. And they'll have an event at the United Nations, and there'll be events held around the world.
March 20th, the International Day of Happiness. And how is that designated?
Well, it's designated, the UN designated as that day. Okay. I think the 22nd is the International Decade of Water. My Hugg Planet is either the official or unofficial mascot of it for whatever. But it's a serious day. It's a day where people will
serious happiness,
because for us to be happy, there are problems we have to solve.
Right.
And at the UN, at that day, Some of the brightest minds are there. It is unreal. The quality of people that care are working all around the world to make a difference.
Well, it's interesting you say that because we're not going to get political here.
No,
but
it was nothing to
unfortunately,
do-
the UN, certainly
Yeah.
not for the Day of Happiness,
Yes.
but the UN sometimes gets unfairly, in my opinion, a bad rap. If you didn't have the UN, you'd have to invent it. There has to be a way for the countries to get
Absolutely.
together. It's not perfect. No large institution is perfect. Things are happening so quickly in the 21st century that the institutions from the 20th century have to play catch up. But if you didn't have a United Nations, if there wasn't a platform for an International Day of Happiness or
people
of climate
knew- yes.
concern,
If-
how would we do this?
If they saw what goes on at the grassroots of the United Nations and the people out there and the
With refugees
Oh
and
my God,
children
it's-
and,
yes.
and
So-
health care and all of these
so
things.
Happiness Day that's what we'd like to promote. There's a lot of work to cure the suffering.
Well, bravo to you and Hugg a Planet with these wonderfully conceived and executed toys and having it on the international, space station. Bravo to you as well, Paul.
Let me mention a day too, if you don't
Please,
mind. Just because
absolutely.
actually
Yes.
we're affiliated with the same day as well, and it actually was another United Nations created day, the International Day of Peace. It's really been around since 1980s, actually.
Yeah.
It got reinvigorated in 2002, and actually since then, along with our good friend here, Robert, we've been doing a concert in Central Park, created the largest human peace sign in Times Square, and the Peace Day party is actually our concept, and we this year got UNESCO involved and the city schools for the Respect for All program, of which the Hugg a Planet is part of that Respect for All program. And so it's September 21st. So our dream is to throw a party that day at 12 noon. The world is asked to take a moment of silence for world peace. And so we have, on a nonprofit way, a lot of content, thousands of shows on that. And we're looking to build it out worldwide.
Well, all I
Just
can
like
tell
a
you-
Happiness Day.
I hope-
we can name every single day. And Jeffrey must have another day.
No, I have one thing to add to that. I have a perfect show. I just created a show called The Happiness Show with the help of Sirius XM Radio, and I brought on Colin Quinn, Lisa Lampanelli, and Susie Essman, 3 incredibly famous comedians, to talk about what brings happiness in their lives and how people in general can bring happiness into their own lives. Because who better to learn from than comedians who spend their whole lives making people laugh and making them happy. So when you guys are ready, I will play
on
the
this
Happiness Show,
episode of
my Happiness Show
BeTerrific,
pilot.
We've brought
here.
happiness, we've brought hugs,
Yeah.
we've brought peace, we've brought all of these wonderful values to the table, and we've brought them to you, our terrifics.
And we brought a doctor.
I play my small part in all of this, and I would be so pleased if we would wipe out your inventory
Yes.
of Earths
Uh-oh,
and
that won't
Mars
be hard.
and moons. All of you terrifics, go to huggaplanet.com if you're so inclined to purchase a product and to support these wonderful men and the work that they're doing, and the women and children, I'm sure, that work with them and are part of the family, and you're all part of our family. Once again, for BeTerrific and for the whole BeTerrific team, thank you for watching. There's more to come. We'll be here through Tuesday at Toy Fair at the Jacob K. Javits Center. Peace and love to all. Thank you.